Yo gang, how goes it? Sean of the big hat. I was gonna say the big ass hat. It's crass, so I just went with big hat, but then I went crass anyway, so I'm conflicted. So I want to chat a little bit about like dogs and their demeanor and their attitude and whether they look happy and bouncy or whether they look quiet, forlorn, upset, annoyed, frustrated, shut down, whatever you might want to call it. A lot of times it gets attributed to the training. Something I need to do a better job of is showing dogs coming in before a tool's been put on them, before any training's been done, and let everybody see what the dog on its own looks like. So people get a real kind of objective, foundational kind of like starting point of like, oh, so that's the dog. So rather than post-training or in the middle of training being like, oh, that dog looks scared, or that dog looks nervous, or that dog looks unsure, or that dog looks unhappy, or, and then you go back to the original video and you're like, oh yeah, that's the dog. That's the dog that came in looking like that, right? So that's one of the things that I really want to start improving on is, hey FedEx guy, is capturing more. Whoa, I'm gonna lose my hat. Hang on, Mozzie, don't bite me because I'm losing my hat. There's no cause for that. Ready? Yep. So I think I need a big, smaller hat size or something. Anyways, so that's one thing I really want to work on more, is to give people a more how do I put it? Just a more honest view of the dog. A lot of times, you know, we might show like them exploding or reacting or being, you know, nasty or something like that. But we don't just show the dog kind of like hanging out and letting people see that, whoa, that dog looks unsure or nervous or fearful or freaked out. And I think we have to do a better job of showing that, so people get so people can do a better job of assessing what's actually going down, right? I hope that makes sense. So that's one of the things that we want to definitely work on. Go potty. But there's this other part of this, and this is just kind of like started or sparked from a conversation on another dog trainer's page, talking about videos. Hang on, I gotta just like reset my leash. There we go. Talking about videos where dogs don't look happy, where dogs don't look bouncy, and that it's going to have negative repercussions for the industry, and that people are going to see that, and it's going to be ammo for the pure positive folks to be able to say like, look, these dogs are unhappy. So that goes back to, come on, let's go, young man. What is your problem? Come on, we just walking, buddy. There ain't nothing going on but the rent. Ozzy just had a moment. Don't know what that moment was about. Anyways, so want to definitely be able to show more of that. So I think that gives a more accurate kind of presentation of what the dogs are. So you can't, so that group can't be like, it's the tools that did it, because there's the dog and there's no tools on it. The dog's doing the same thing. Now, along with that, there's also the whole part of dogs being very complex emotional creatures. They come in, let's cross this way, bud. Let's go. Say they spent 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years being emotionally patterned to be the king of the castle, do whatever they want, set boundaries for humans, growl at them, keep them away from food, keep them off the couch, go bananas, whatever the patterning might be. A lot of it tends to be around like disrespecting humans, like because humans have never asked for respect, right? That kind of goes hand in hand. So if a dog has lived and been emotionally patterned to live with human beings in a way that they're never to be perceived as a species worthy of being respected, when that species stands up and starts saying, we need you to listen to some very specific rules and some very kind of, how do I put it, very specific, precise kind of behaviors, not like fancy behaviors, but like recall, sit, down, place, heel, you know, things that are pretty specific and pretty precise in the way they need to be executed. Now, if you're a dog who spent 8 years of your life being the king of the castle, setting rules for everybody, becoming an entitled, empowered, kind of swaggery guy, and if you're predisposed with already having that attitude, because lots of dogs come with attitude, then when the human stands up and starts, the trainer or whoever you want to call him, whoever it is, starts to actually ask for more, how do you think the dog's going to feel, right? So there's all this talk about like drives, and as long as you use them like affection or toys or food or what play, we can like make the dog happy and bouncy and feel good about the training and look great. Well, the reality is that some dogs don't give a crap about any of that stuff. And some dogs really, 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 really dislike listening. I have this thing that for certain dogs that have lived a certain way for a long time, it hurts their soul to listen to you more than the correction does for them for not doing it. Honestly, I've watched so many dogs. I mean, it's kind of a running joke that like with those kinds of dogs, you'll see them actually like, they know exactly what you're looking for. You've trained them very fairly. They know all the rules of the road. And you'll ask for something and they'll be like, right? And so now we could try and get them into drive. We could try and create some motivator to make them do that, to make them more inspired to do it. But if you're dealing with a dog that bites humans, dogs, is resource guarding, has any kind of nasty stuff, do you really want to be in a space where you're saying like, hey, bad attitude guy, let me motivate you with something really nice that you'll feel happy about so we can get you to complete this exercise in a happy, bouncy way? Or do we want to say, Mr. Snotty Pants, get your behind over here because I don't like your attitude, and that there's more value in having a snotty pants dog do something, especially if they don't want to do it, right? The dog that doesn't want to do it out of an attitude situation is the dog you want most to do it without any other motivator in my book. I want the dog to be like, nobody tells me what to, oh, I gotta go over there? Oh, crap. And then you're gonna see the conflict. And the dog's like, oh, I don't wanna do this. Shut down, push against it, right? All the different things where people are gonna see dogs that don't look happy. And I do air quotes if I could. That's what happens when dogs are in a space of having their world turned upside down and actually having rules and consequences. Like, how do people look that like maybe go into jail or into the military for the first time and have kind of done whatever they've wanted to do all their life, and all of a sudden, boom, they're confronted with tons of structure, tons of rules, tons of leadership, tons of accountability. Do the people in charge see pushback? You bet your sweet patootie they do. That's a part of the process. And so they actually use and leverage all that stuff in order to help bring, and I'm using my hands, you can't see, bring those behavioral issues of the humans to the fore so they can be worked through if they've got like oppositional kind of behavior, authority issues, things like that. Then you can actually bring them to the fore, work through them, process them, and end up with a human in a better space. And it's very much the same with dogs. But the thing is, everybody wants dogs to be happy all the time. If a human in boot camp is like struggling and he's got a bad attitude and they're busting his ass and like, get your ass over that wall and do that and go up there and climb that mountain and, you know, jog up there with all your stuff, we're like, yeah, he needs to do that. He's got a bad attitude. They got to work him through that to where he's in a better space. You do it with dogs and everybody's like, that dog doesn't look happy. Yeah, he's effing biting people. And you're telling him to go do something, and he's been biting people and setting rules and ruling the kingdom of his world, and you're telling him no. Of course he's unhappy. Are you crazy? He's like, someone's trying to overthrow my government. Like, get out of here. So there's this big kind of gap as far as like people not understanding the psychology of dogs, or not even the psychology, but the emotional depth of dogs. They just see them as kind of like, I'd say more one-dimensional in that they've got drives and they've got this, and as long as you like play into the drives, you can get the dog to do anything and be happy about it. BS. BS. There's plenty of dogs where the drives aren't going to override that, and the drive to run their kingdom is a bigger drive than any external drive you might bring to bear to try and share with the dog and get him into a good space. So that's an important component to think about, what the psychology of the dog or the emotional state of the dog who's run its kingdom for a long time and then suddenly loses its kingdom, how that dog might feel about listening to very precise commands and having to bust ass over here, over here, over here. Imagine what that might feel like for the king to be like, get your butt over here, get your butt over here. They may not be so like, ah, cool, oh great, they're finally asking me to do something. So that's something really important for everyone to contemplate. And we try and show dogs in all different things. We've got dogs that come through and they're like, we're bouncy and happy and like, cool, someone's telling me what to do. Even though I was king of the world, I'm so happy not to be king of the world. Then you've got dogs that are like, I've been king of the world, and you bet your ass I'm gonna stay king of the world. Those dogs are not gonna be bouncy and happy in the same way. So that's part of it. Then you've got your just genetically predisposed dogs that are genetically predisposed to being incredibly fearful, nervous, insecure, shut down, or their early experiences, along with maybe a genetic component, has created a dog that's like totally freaked out by the world. Tools or not, and the dog is like, right? And then you start training it and you shoot a video and everybody's like, look what those tools are doing to that dog. That horrible trainer is creating this like shut down dog. Well, that dog is shut down or was shut down before anybody did anything. It might have even exhibited, that's hard with the Invisaligns, exhibited it in a different fashion. A lot of times dogs will camouflage and front and cover things up with different stuff. But that doesn't mean, come on, go potty, go potty, go on, go potty, go on, get it all out, bud, go potty. So that doesn't mean that those behaviors and issues aren't there, but dogs are masters of like fronting and covering stuff up. So the fearful dog comes in, and then all of a sudden, like, once he's not allowed to do that, you see, oh, I'm really insecure, I'm really uncertain. All right, you're not gonna go? Hang on one sec, guys. Heel. So I just wanted to put that out there because I think it's such an important conversation. When we did our DVD, we purposefully created, and both prong and e-collar, we could have taken ringer dogs that were happy as can be, the easiest, bounciest, most like happy to work and drivey and like, oh, can't wait to do stuff. And we could have used those kind of dogs, tons of food, tons of motivators. Instead, what we try to do is show really authentic, real situations that owners are going to be dealing with. Dogs that are brats, dogs that are like, screw you, I don't want to do this, dogs that have their own agendas, dogs that aren't highly motivated or driven, and show what that looks like. Now, does that make the DVDs sometimes look like the dogs aren't happy, bouncy, and doesn't give people a really great feeling? Maybe. I know we catch plenty of hell about it. Plenty of people are like, oh, Sean's DVDs, the dogs are shut down. Those are dogs that are normal dogs that are being asked to do something that have probably never been asked to do something, and we're not using tons of external motivators to try and get them to be happy about it, because they've got attitudes. And you can even see in like the DVD when I can't remember his name, the one gray dog, like he's a total brat throughout the whole DVD, and we kept all his footage in so everybody could see what that actually looks like. So we made a conscious choice to have a realistic set of DVDs because we want owners to see what it really looks like. Because if you're an owner, uh-oh, I'm locked out. If you're an owner, come on, bud. If you're an owner and you see only videos or DVDs of dogs and they always look happy, and you're working with your dog, and your dog is giving you like crap or not excited or not motivated or has king of the castle syndrome, you're going to be like, oh, I'm screwing up, I'm doing everything wrong. And you may not be at all. You might just have a bratty dog that doesn't want to do what you're asking. So we've been really working hard to show a very accurate portrayal of dogs at all different kind of levels, all different kind of behaviors, all different kinds of drives, all different kinds of reactions. Happy, bouncy, like Teddy. Teddy came through here biting me up a storm. Me and him became best buddies, bouncy, fun, like it was like a highlight of my morning playing with him. Other dogs come through here And their whole attitude is screw you, top to bottom. They never want to become attached or connected to us. And to be honest, my gig isn't to be their best buddy. My gig is to get them into a better space. They've got owners to be their buddies, right? Their owners can do that. The owners have to ask for the other good stuff as well. But like, my job isn't to be every dog's best buddy. My job is to train dogs to do certain things and not do certain other things. If they like me and we can have a nice meeting of the minds and be in a good space, all the better. If not, I'm really okay with that too. So I just want to share this little video about the varying degrees of how dogs can look in videos. And just because dogs don't always look happy doesn't mean that something negative, bad, toxic, abusive has gone down in the training. Oftentimes it's just the dog. Oftentimes it's just the attitude of the dog. Oftentimes it's genetics of the dog, all that good stuff. So I hope this helps. Any questions, hit me up, you know, as always, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Excuse the hat, excuse the Invisaligns, and I'll chat with you guys soon. Bye.